It's Kirk Hilliard.
Hey, and it's Rusty Bird. It's the Kirk and Bird Show. And we're going to cover Prince William County High School basketball. And we're blessed to have with us today two guys that I would consider an expert in that area. I've been on air with both of them before, with Prince William County Sportz, with Kombo, where we previewed, was that football this year, right?
Yeah, football season. Yes, sir.
We previewed high school football in Prince William County, and I had the pleasure of calling basketball games with Colin. So I want to welcome these two. Prince William County, they know their stuff. They cover sports, but they've played sports. So they're experts tonight on basketball. And so welcome Colin Ropella and Kombo Chogugudza.
Chogugudza.
I'm not, again, this is why I can't be play-by-play, and I refuse to do it because that right there. But welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having me, or us.
Glad to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, these two guys went to Prince William County schools. Colin graduated a few years ago from Stonewall Jackson, which is now Unity Reed. Kombo is a senior at Patriot. Kombo is a senior this year. He played football on some of these great Patriot teams over the last couple of years. But what I really like is these guys, they cover the sport right now. Colin is a student at Liberty University, and he's studying to do this profession, to do journalism, sports journalism, and media professionally. And Kombo, why don't you tell us some exciting news about what you just revealed to us to the world today through Twitter?
Yeah. After I graduate in the summer, for the next 4 years, I'll be attending Arizona State University and being a part of their prestigious Cronkite Sports program. Talking about sports journalism, like learning about the game, learning about broadcasting, all of it, learning from some of the best professors in the nation.
Oh, that is great! Congratulations, two guys that are doing great. In Liberty, I tell you, man, I was on that campus about 2 weeks ago. And the things they've got going on, the athletics, the facilities, Colin, I know you're going to definitely be blessed with your career growing as well. So look, let's go ahead on and get right into it. The first thing we want to talk about is the two of the top teams, definitely in the Cedar Room, but maybe in all of VHL Class 6 Region B. It was Battlefield Patriot matchup number 2. Now, you both actually covered that game for Prince William Sports and Entertainment on their video production, airing live of that game. But you didn't do it. You didn't both cover it this time. But Colin, you were at the game. Tell us about this exciting matchup.
Well, first, it was exciting in terms of just the buildup and all the people there this time. I didn't have this issue the first time because me and Kombo, we had our seats courtside. I wanted to sit on the Patriot side because I knew some more of those Patriot parents, but we couldn't get a seat. So we had to sit in like the corner of the Battlefield section. So I guess I didn't realize how packed it was. But again, it was packed. And it's funny when they say, oh, it's at Battlefield, they're the home team, or it's at Patriot, they're the home team. Like, it's not a home game besides the home court because all the parents are still there. The student sections are still packed. So it's really just a different location, and it's going to be the same at Gainesville. But in terms of the game, this game, I believe you all saw the first game. It was much more competitive from start to finish. I believe there was I think Patriot had a double-digit lead at one point, and that might have been the biggest lead of the game. And much like the first game, Battlefield came out hot, and they kind of took control of the game early, which I think was important for them, especially playing a team like Patriot who can just light it up in a flurry. And then the second quarter came, and the second quarter, I guess it was slower in terms of scoring. Nobody scored until the final minute of that quarter. And the final score for that quarter was 3-2.
Wow.
I believe Caden Bates scored, and then Maddox Tennant, he was the player of the game, far and ahead the player of the game, hit a 3. And then in the second half, It was tight, and they obviously started scoring a lot more. And as I said, Maddox Tennant, he did his Klay Thompson impression. He was hitting 3 after 3. He had to have been like 6 of 7 or 6 of 8 from 3 or something along those lines. It was very low scoring, as I mentioned, that second quarter. And really what it came down to was free throw shooting. And Battlefield were able to hit free throws down the stretch to close it out. And Patriot was around like 33% from the line. And that's really what cost them the game. And I felt Battlefield was the better team on that night. And they also had the best player. I mean, as I said, it was just a dominant performance by Maddox. And then on the Patriot side, no one was really able to get going besides Desmond Hopkins in the second half. He was able to hit a couple threes. But, yeah, nobody was able to get going. I felt Battlefield did a great job not letting them get too many points in the fast break, which is when we see Patriot kind of take control. They brought the pressure in the second half, and Battlefield coped with it decently after struggling for a little bit. So, yeah, Battlefield came out and they forced this upcoming game, which I'm excited about because we just get to see them play another time. What was it? They played 5 times last year. They're probably going to play, or they might play 6 times now.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, do you happen to know where the game is on Wednesday? I was just trying to text.
It's at Gainesville High School.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So I actually have an observation that I want you guys to comment on. And before I make that observation, I just want to ask everybody to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, which is the Kirk and Bird Show. And then we're hammering out our audio podcast. But if you look it up, we're on Audible, Google, and we're working on Apple and Spotify. And then one more thing, I want to plug somebody else, and that's Julian Brown, because he has the Nova Legends podcast, and I watched his interview with Coach Sherman Rivers as well as Coach Randall Bill's post game, and that was really good. They're pretty quick, 15, 17-minute interviews. Julian Brown does a great job with his podcast. But so my observation, Colin and Kombo, is I've only seen them play Battlefield and Patriot once. Well, I've seen Patriot play more than once, but the two teams play each other. So my observation was this, and this is what I want y'all's comment on, is it seemed like Patriot has more talent. Their talent level is higher, but Battlefield tends to play more cohesively, more synergy. What are y'all's thoughts on that going forward? Kombo, let's get you in here. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I've seen this Patriot program for the last 4 years. How they've grown, the players, Nasir Coleman, Des, all the guys, same as Battlefield, Coach Billis and his kids. You can definitely see that when it comes to, like, for example, the first time they played, Patriot ran, I think, a 12-man rotation. Coach Sherman had a clear say he had 12 guys win the game and not rotating the entire time. Coach Billis kept it short. He had maybe a 6 or 7-man rotation. So that right there shows the level of skill that Patriot has in advance. And to your point, you're right. If you look at the numbers and kind of stats, Hassan Hamad, Ty Gordon, all those guys, they do play more cohesive. Like, they do play more together. I don't know if you watched the game the second time, like Colin said, there's a point in the game where Ty Gordon is on a fast break, anything and a no touch pass, hitting Maddox Tennant off a back door. You know what I mean? That's having cohesive team movement. Whereas for the Patriot side, it's not really there yet. But I understand that Coach Sherman Rivers will get them to that point sometime soon.
I think what our viewers should recognize is that in case somebody's watching this or doesn't know this part of the county or state, just so you know, last year Patriot was undefeated all season, regular season. They beat Battlefield twice in the regular season. They beat them in the district finals. They beat them in the regional finals. And they met again for a 5th time in the state semis. The winner's going to go on to the state championship. And that game was, what was it, a 3-point game? Came down to the last few, what was it, 2-point game? Last shot.
Yeah.
So that tells you how close these programs are to each other. And then that was last year. But this year, going into their first matchup, Battlefield was undefeated. And Battlefield was at home, but Patriot won. And so Patriot, outside of the loss on Friday, they had two non-conference games that they lost to. One was to Hayfield, the number one team in the state, the defending state championship from last year. And I think that was only a 2-point game. And then they lost to a team that I think from Delaware, that's one of the better teams in the state. And that's, I think, ranked number 3. So just so you understand, these are legitimately great teams. And then when we talk about the talent level, I think one of the things I would say is I think both teams are well coached. They work well together. You know, Patriot couldn't be 19-3 without being able to play well together. What I say when I think we're talking about talent, what I would say about that is Battlefield has ballers, but what I would say is where do they project? And I think Patriot, especially in Isaiah Vick, potentially has a Division I player out there, and maybe some others, but I don't know if Battlefield does. It doesn't mean they couldn't play, but I don't know if any have ever been recruited at the Division I level. So that's my take on kind of the talent. But then in terms of the way they play, man, it's just, these are just two great programs, two coaches going at it. And I just think that they make me proud, even though I'm from the eastern side of the county. So any other thoughts on that? They play on Wednesday. I want to get a very quick prediction from everybody. They play on Wednesday at Gainesville to determine the number 1 seed. Colin, we'll start with you. Who do you think will take this round?
Well, quickly before I forgot to mention it, I think also a big difference from game 1 to game 2 was the insertion of Ty Gordon into that game. He brought a leadership. He just brings like an alpha dog kind of mentality. There was a situation that happened in the first game. There was a hard foul by Battlefield, and then a couple guys went chest to chest. That happened the first game, but I felt like there wasn't that I guess chest to chest part. And I felt, again, this is not a great part of the game, but it's part of the game. And Ty Gordon kind of stepped here and he said, I'm here. And he's kind of that leader for this team. And he made that no-look pass. So I think he made a huge difference in this game. And you said Battlefield has some ballers. So Hassan Hamad and, again, Maddox Tennant, they both scored 25-plus points, not in the same game, but separate games 1 and 2. To pick this game, I really just see this as punch, counter punch to the counter punch. And I'm going to go with Patriot. In this next game, I think just they felt they had this game and they lost it due to their own due to their misses at the line, stuff they could control. They felt we lost this game as Battlefield didn't necessarily win this game. I feel that's their mindset. That's probably Battlefield's mindset for game 1 as well. So I'm gonna take Patriot in this one.
Okay, all right. Cool. We got a Patriot with Colin. What do you think, Kombo? Now look, I think know that you attend Patriot and you're a senior. You've been there 4 years, but just put on your journalist hat, okay? And
I know I'm gonna take all bias the opinion. You know, I think when you're analyzing the game and you're the way the teams play, I think the Patriot lost with 3 points, and I further on saw that Coach Rivers had tweeted that they shot 7 for 23 from the line. Now that's what 14 or 15 free throws missed, things that you can't control, and that's a 12-point swing in the way the game would have gone. Hit the free throw, it turns, instead of losing a close one, to a blowout victory for them. So I think that yes, Ty Gordon changed for Battlefield. We all know he's a great teammate, leader. He's everything you want a basketball player and a leader on your team. But I think the talent level for Patriot and the way those guys play and the way Coach is going to get them after this tough loss, I think Patriot wins this game on Wednesday night at Gainesville.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right, what about you, Kirk?
I'm not biased in any way. I like both coaches. I like both programs. We know Dwight Vick and Isaiah Vick, but I would say Patriot also on the counterpunch. I think Coach Rivers has a lot of teaching from that film, and that is talent doesn't always win games. It's good team play. So I would think they'll be working on their free throws, and I would predict Patriot. They're going to play at least one more time, and Haman Hassad is going to Christopher Newport University, and I think that's the third player from Battlefield. There's a men's player, and then there's a women's player at Christopher Newport that have gone. So they've got a little bit of a pipeline going to Battlefield. So they're getting a very good player. That's a great program, by the way. It's not your typical D3. They are crazy about sports, and we had Coach John Harvell of the baseball team, which they're going to win a College World Series Division III. But he said that he thinks they're going to go straight to Division I, and that could be an interesting jump. But I also I would not be surprised if you coming out of the whole thing is that if someone's going to beat Carlos Poindexter's Hayfield team, it's going to be one of these teams. And I think what benefits Battlefield is we went to the state championship and saw them play against Hayfield, and they were a little bit starstruck. A college arena, lights, people. So Coach Bills has that teaching point. So I think it's going to be a great game. I am going to go out to Gainesville on Wednesday night. So having said that, Rusty, what's your pick?
Okay, so we have three Patriots.
Three Patriots.
Now look, Coach Sherman Rivers.
He's going to pick Battlefield.
He did this last time too.
He says this.
We did this.
What happened last time though?
I'm rarely wrong in any of my predictions. I don't care what sport it is. Rarely ever wrong. And I want to say, I think me predicting a Battlefield will motivated your team. You coached harder. They played harder. The assistant coaches reviews film a little longer. You guys put in some extra work, more prayers at church. And that was the difference in you guys getting over the hump, despite my prediction. But I'm going to go Battlefield again, Coach. That's right. I don't care. I'm going to Battlefield again. All right, on the neutral site.
All right. That sounds about right.
3-1. All right. We got 3 for Patriot and 1 for Battlefield. And it's not because I don't think you can win. Kombo made a great point with the free throws. I just think you guys are going to be really want the revenge thing, and they're going to just play their game. It's neutral site, boom. And neutral site really doesn't matter, like you said, Colin. I think I wouldn't, if I know some of these gyms are built the same, Patriot and Colgan and Gainesville. I wish there was an even bigger arena they could take this to. Like George Mason has an auxiliary gym that has even more seats, but it's all good. I'm gonna try there too.
And they could fill it too. Like they could fill a bigger space.
Yeah.
And there's people standing. Like it's like standing room.
Well, the Northern Region used to be at George Mason every year. The Northern Region semifinals and finals. And then that's a good point, Colin. They put a lot of people in the stands. I would say that you've got 4,000 or 5,000 people, and that is a heck of a crowd for a high school basketball game.
Okay.
So to change gears, Rusty, let's talk about the other end of the county with of course.
Well, first let's finish Cedar Run because the winner will be first, and then I think they already pretty much know the rest of the seedings for the. So do you guys have that? Do one of you, or you want me to go through it?
Well, Gainesville's the 3rd seed, so I mean they're the other one. I want these guys to go because they're the experts. But I was just going to say that if anybody has a chance at beating Patriot or Battlefield, it's got to be Gainesville.
I would agree on that. At the same time, talent-wise, I think they haven't really shown it this year in terms of not talent, but in terms of performance. But talent-wise, I think Osborne. It would take a heck of a performance, but Osborne could do it just with Tavion Barber, maybe the best.
I was going to say, yeah. If he gets hot, yeah.
But they also have other dudes as well, and I think with Gainesville's had an excellent year, and I've always felt like since Gainesville came about, like they're going to take kids from those, just in terms of zoning and location, they're going to take kids from those schools. So where it's Patriot and Battlefield, like rivalry, I think it'll be like a 3-team rivalry. So I think they're a little bit like a year ahead right now. The girls program is not a year ahead. They're legit right now.
They're right now.
But yeah, Gainesville's got Grant Polk.
Exactly.
Okay, just quickly, they got Grant Polk, and he can flat out play as well. So I think it's a 2-team race, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams kind of gives them a run for their money. But go ahead, Kombo, with what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I was gonna piggyback off you about Gainesville. Like last year, I don't know if you guys remember their women's team, the women's program. I think they finished dead last in the state run. You look at this year, they're 20-2. They're one of the top female programs in the district. And the same thing with Gainesville. Their team run out was 16-6 overall. So I think within the coming years, it'll become a 3-team race. But for now, go off what Colin said, that Osborne team is definitely that one that could give for the Patriot run for their money.
Okay. All right. So yeah, while we're here, let's go ahead on and do everything Cedar Run. Any other predictions and thoughts on the girls matchups? We've got the state runner-up, Osborne Park, and they've actually got only a few losses, but one is actually to Gainesville.
Yep. Yeah, I think with the girls, it's a legit 3-team race. Osborne Park, Patriot, who lost to Woodbridge, was 1 game away, I believe, from the state tournament if they won that game. Mm-hmm. And Gainesville. Those are 3 legit teams, and I think those 3 teams, or we could have two teams going to the state tournament out of this group. And I mean, I'm not familiar with the whole state, but this might be, I believe there are 3 like state tournament caliber teams. So I really don't know who to give the upper hand to in that, and the girls on that side, but it's 3 great programs. If I were to give it to one, it would probably be Osborne Park, just because they've been knocking on the door for so long. Mm-hmm. And they're more of a, I guess, veteran team, obviously being to 2 straight state championships.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead.
I've had the privilege to watch. Oh yeah, I've had the privilege to watch all 3 of these teams play. OP's women's team, Gainesville's women's team, Patriots women's team. I've seen all 3 of these teams play. I will say Coach Kelly and those OP girls are different. They've gone to back-to-back state title games and they've lost. So you already know veteran leadership of Corey Cole, their senior wing, and Elena Power, all those other girls. They know what it takes. They've been there. They've been knocking on the door, and they run. And everybody here is familiar with Coach Kelly and the type of coach she is. 300+ wins, one of the best coaches, male or female, around town. She has what it takes. She's up there. I think that OP girls program does get it done this year, and they are the team to beat in the girls bracket.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Coach Kelly at Forest Park 2 state championships when she had Monica, right? Okay. So look, let's go ahead and over to the Cardinal District and let's look. I think we have some surprises there. When a couple of games this year, I kind of thought Potomac would just dominate and run away with the district this year, but 3 teams. Freedom with the new coach has played very well and has 2 outstanding scorers. Forest Park has had some upsets and played very well. And then Colgan has really come along, and they've got 2 kids that are probably Division I prospects. So tell me a little bit, what do you know about the Cardinal District? I
do know Tavares Riley can put it up in bunches. He's averaging 29 points per game. Which is just insane. It's absolutely absurd. And he can do it in all kinds of ways, and he's unselfish. And then Shamar Cisco for Freedom as well can do it the same, and they play off each other really well. But I also know they just lost to Hilton, and I'm not sure I'm not sure. And that was Hilton's first win in the region on the year or district. So wow. Yeah, so I'm not sure or familiar with what happened in that game. But I believe if those 2 guys are hot, they can compete with anybody. They got 2 bigs inside as well who can compete. EJ Reed also can put up points for them. And then Forest Park as well. I mean, they got probably the best big man, just pure big man in the area. And they got a lot of complementary players around them. And then I agree with you. I remember us talking about Potomac just because we had their game earlier in the season, and just from their talent. I mean, they got 3 private school transfers, Jaden Harris, Dave DeGuzman as well. Like, they have talent, but they've played a lot of close games, and against teams you'd expect them to kind of dominate. So they got the talent to really beat and compete with anyone, I think, on that level of Patriot and Battlefield, but they've struggled at times. And then in terms of Colgan, I kind of see them in the same spot as Gainesville because they got young guys. So they're going to be a problem down the line, and they've been great this year. I'm just not sure they can compete with those teams right now. But look out for them in the years ahead.
In case you don't know, Colgan's coach, and I don't know why my son calls him Coach John. I don't know why I can't remember his last name, but he won 2 state championships at Colonial Forge prior to coming to Colgan. So he's gotten it done, just like Coach Chrissy. And so this is fun that this district is so well rounded. Again, it's funny because 2 of the best teams last year in Woodbridge and Hilton, to go along with Freedom and Potomac, they're not here. They don't seem to be as relevant. But again, I think with this district, we can have an upset at any point. Kirk, any thoughts? Any thing you want to add? After that, we'll go to the girls.
No, I would say that I pretty much agree with everybody. I think that Patriot and Battlefield will bubble up and make the state semifinals. One of them will make the state semifinals. Matter of fact, last year, both of them made the state semifinals, and then Battlefield won and went to play Hayfield. But yeah, I think maybe after the girls, let's spend a quick minute on the outlook for the state tournament, and we can stick with Division 6 because that's Prince William County all the way. But yeah, let's talk about the girls.
All right. In the Cedar Run, in the Cardinal District, I've been to a number of games this year. In fact, I was at Colgan the other night, but I haven't seen. Who is it? I've seen Woodbridge. I've seen Colgan. Tell me a little bit about who you all think has the best opportunity. I think the Cedar Run is a stronger district, but I know Potomac girls are playing very well, but I just haven't seen them. What do you guys know?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to see a lot of the ladies' action, unfortunately, just in general. But I know Potomac's been dominant. I mean, being undefeated. But at the same time, you can't sleep on Woodbridge just because of. Coach Dudley's not there anymore, but they still have that pedigree, and that's just a team you have to watch out for. I still think maybe even the 3 best teams in the area are in the Cedar Run. I am biased as a Cedar Run kind of student, but I do think those 3 best teams. But I think Potomac can hang with them for sure.
Okay, cool. Kombo, any thoughts?
Yeah, I had a chance to see Colgan play when they came over and they came Patriot and they played against Patriot a couple weeks ago. I think that Colgan team's young. They did a really good point guard number 4. I can't remember her name. My apologies, but she's either great shifty point guard, handles great movement, can play the passing lanes really well defensively as well. I think they're maybe a year or 2 away from really making some real noise in that district. But yeah, I think that the best overall women's teams for the future and right now is going to be OP and Patriot. I think in terms of the talent level and everything right now, if you look at those 3 programs in terms of the state, they hang up there with I think anybody in the state in the 6A, 6B level. Patriots, Ellen Grown is one of the best post scorers. That they have averaging 11 points a game. You go game. Madison McKenzie's averaging 20 a game. All 3 of those programs right now are just heavy hitters leading the way, and I think it will take some time before we see some young blood, some new errors come through.
Okay, all right, cool. Kirk, what do you think in terms of? Have you had a chance to look at any of the programs out in Loudoun County? boys or girls. Now I know they don't have any Class 6. They're mostly 5 and 4, right?
Yeah, there's no 6.
The only Class 6
Champ.
they have are in the
Champ.
Cedar Run district.
Yeah, Champ.
Freedom South Riding.
Are you talking about Champ is isn't Champ 6?
Champ
is in the Cedar Run.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
In the Cedar Run, so I'm going outside of the Cedar Run.
So are you talking about boys or girls or both?
Whatever you've seen.
Yeah. So there's some good tradition out here. Loudoun County is a great, fun team to watch. The boys. I've not seen the girls play. Jeremiah Davis's daughter plays for the girls, I believe. They're very well coached. They don't have any athletes that just like jump out at you, but they're all very good, strong players. And then, Stonebridge won a state championship. I think it was a couple years ago. I've seen them play. I don't think they're a threat to go too far. Independence beat them pretty handily last week. And then Broad Run has a good program. They're pretty good. I would say that Potomac Falls is probably the de facto standard in Loudoun County. Jeff Hawes has won 2 state championships. Great program. They're down this year, however. And up and coming program is Riverside. I like the way their coaches. They're excited. That's a great sports school, by the way, Riverside. Unfortunately, they don't win much in football, but I think that will change. And the old days of Parkview, with Billy King and the incredible players, Billy King at Duke, things change. So, yeah, with Loudoun County, good teams. And then with the girls, I'm not as much up on the girls. I've seen Stonebridge play, both JV and varsity. But, yeah, that's about all I know. By the way, Loudoun Valley out in Purcellville has a very good program, and you'd be surprised because that's kind of considered west of Leesburg and a little more rural. It's not rural, but they've got some really good players and athletes going to that school on the boys' side. So
I've done a number of their games over the years. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, this is going to be a fun district tournament coming up. Let me ask you this. So I think when we talk about the regional finals, I believe that the better teams overall in the girls' side are from the Cedar Run. Potomac, who's undefeated in the Cardinal, they're the best team clearly there. But head to head, when they've played Patriot and they played Osborne Park, and they lost both games by double figures. By double figures. So 1-15, they lost to Patriot. No, I'm sorry, yeah, they lost to Patriot by 15. And they lost to Osborne Park by 25. So I think somebody's going to come out of the Cedar Run. Now, let me ask you, if you had to pick a regional champ, which means, all of Prince William and those 2 Loudoun County schools to upset and beat, and I say upset because we're talking a lot about Battlefield and Patriot, who do you all think can win the region? Right now, who would you can either just say, hey, I'm not picking an upset. This is who I think can win. If there's any team that you, Kombo, of course, Patriot, but who do give me your regional champ? Because I want to hear a prediction, on January 6, 2023.
As of, you can mark it here, February 6, 9/24, my regional champ for the boys side. Surprise! I think it's gonna shock a lot of people when I'm going Patriot. I think and I mean this in this way. If you look at the schedule, Coach Sherman Rivers, Coach Patterson, that they play, Hayfield, LC Bird, Highland Springs, they played the best of the best the whole state of Virginia and Delaware have to offer.
And
he's prepared his guys to play.
They played
and they played in Maryland too. Yeah. So
on
Coach
TV.
Rivers has prepped his team to play the best.
They beat Largo, yeah.
Oh, yeah, on TV. Yeah, Largo on TV. Yeah. So Coach Rivers has prepped his team to play the best of the best of the area. So going to be ready. They played these hard games over and over again, so they're going to be ready to play in the regional championship against anybody they come across. So I'm taking Patriot. And then when it comes to the girls, I'm taking Osborne Park and Coach Kelly's girls. I think I was able to see them play versus Patriot. They run a beautiful 1-3-1 press defensively. They have a great offense. They have a great point guard, wing. They have everything it takes to finally get it done this year. So I'm taking OP and Patriot.
Okay. All right. Colin?
On the ladies' side, man, I think it's tough because I think it's Gainesville or OP to me. I think Patriot might be a little bit behind, not to say Patriot can't win it. That's certainly opposed to the boys when we say, oh, I think Osborne or Gainesville, if someone's going to beat Patriot Battlefield, they can. I think it's different on the girls' side. Like Patriot, like it's a top tier of 3 teams. I'm gonna go Osborne Park, but I think those 2 teams, I'm not sure how the seeding or how the order of the bracket goes. But I believe those are the 2 teams that will be in the state final or in the state playoffs. On the boys' side, well, first you asked if my upset pick would be Potomac to get through. They have the talent. I mean, there's not much you can do with a 6'6" kid who can flat out shoot it from the outside. So talent-wise, and I mean, again, we've joked about this. They have 20 coaches on their team, so they can have individual workouts with everybody. Like they have great coaches over there. Coach Mills has done a great job. So that's my upset sort of pick. And if I was going to pick someone, I hate just to go with the theme, but I think it's Patriot. I think they're the most talented. I think they're the deepest. I think they're versatile. They can beat you. They can, if you slow down the game, I feel they're more susceptible, but they can beat you that way. And so many guys could go off. Caden Bates could get you 28 one night, or Isaiah Vick can do it, or Nazir Coleman can do it, or Desmond Hopkins can do it. So yeah, they're a deep team, and yeah, so those are my 2 picks, Patriot and Osborne Park.
All right. Kirk, do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I would go with the region. I'd go with Patriot, but don't be surprised if Battlefield wins, because they're a very good team, and they've already proven to themselves that they can beat Patriot. And then on Wednesday night, we're going to see. I'm actually going to go with Gainesville for the girls on the region. They're ranked higher than Osborne Park. Osborne Park's probably more battle tested. So I think that that is going to be interesting. And I would say that the state tournament for Class 6 is going to be very interesting, because there are some really, really good teams, a disproportionate amount in Northern Virginia, boys and girls. So I think that'll be exciting.
You know what? There's also more teams in Northern Virginia.
True.
Right.
But dominant teams, really, really good teams. You've got Oscar Smith down in Chesapeake, Thomasdale and Manchester. Both Manchester's probably the highest ranked on boys. Manchester's very good in girls. So yeah, but it should be a great outlook, and I'm hoping just to see if I don't know the way the regions, but if Hayfield plays out, for them to play whoever comes out of the region for Prince William County, I'd love to see that rematch. But there's some other teams. South Lakes is good.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall and Tyson's Corner, right on Route 7. They've got a good program. There's a number of really good schools out in Alexandria. Alexandria, not city, but public schools, not just Hayfield. There's some other teams out there. I believe Edison's good. So, I've said this before. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to interrupt, but I think this is the first time, and I think in recent memory, as long as I can remember, since I've been in high school, that there's a real shot that a state champion could come from a Prince William County school, whether from the boys' side or the girls' side.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure.
Yeah, I think it's on the girls' side, especially. I feel I haven't seen Madison, but Madison's lost. I mean, I covered both of those state championships, Osborne Park and Madison, both years. And Madison's lost some girls from those squads. So I feel like just this is like Osborne Park, like it has to be Osborne Park this time, just with how close they've been knocking on the door. So I think, especially on the girls' side, it's a great opportunity. And then Patriot lost on a buzzer beater to Hayfield. So and one of their better players wasn't. He was there, but he wasn't really in the flow. Jay Randall.
Yeah, Jay Randall. He just came off football. He did not start that game too.
Yep. Hey, real quick, Rusty. I just came up with a ranking in my head for Northern Virginia, and that is areas where sports are a big deal. I would rank Prince William County number 1. I would rank Loudoun County number 2. I would actually rank Stafford County, who's rising fast. Stafford County is unbelievable. All their 5 teams are moving to 6. And then Fairfax. And that's no knock on Fairfax. It's just that as the area's gotten bigger and people move further out, your demographic for families and kids playing sports are just bigger in those 3 counties. Colin, what's your thought? I mean, we've been able to watch these areas develop over the years, but what do you think about that as far as the areas of Northern Virginia?
I just want to make sure I understand. Are you saying the best fans, or are you talking about the team?
Well, both. I think Prince William is really super duper serious about sports, and a lot of these schools are very new. So you've got great football, great basketball, but great recruits in all sports, baseball, soccer. I would say that Loudoun and might get myself in some trouble here. I'd say Fairfax for soccer, Fairfax and Loudoun are above Prince William, but I'm not saying that with a lot of. Prince William is awesome in baseball.
Will be nationally ranked. In fact, several girls that play with my daughter and travel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm saying Colgan, Battlefield had a dominant girls soccer program over the last 5 or 6 years. They won multiple state championships. But I don't know right now what Loudoun County has, and again, they're 4 and 5. But look, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up real quick. Let's get your thoughts on some of the areas that you think have some of the biggest fans and best programs.
Well, in terms of, we just talk about recruits. Again, I'm biased. A Unity Reed graduate, go Lions. But just talent-wise, you got Sean Murphy, who's playing for Alabama. You got Tyleek Williams, who's playing for Ohio State. And then you got Amari Campbell, who's going to be playing for North Carolina, and Coach Mack Brown. So I think talent-wise, her name's slipping on me. Kombo might know. There's a great swimmer at Patriot. I believe she's going to WVU.
Yep, Alyssa Martell. Yep.
Yeah, Alyssa Martell. So there's a lot of talent in this area. Caleb Woodson from Battlefield. And just quickly, go ahead.
No, I was saying Ty going to Syracuse as well.
Yes. So just in this area, I'm kind of closed off and just kind of focusing on this area. I have done some work with Fairfax High School specifically. And I know just in terms of, they've had a really good basketball program the past 2 years. And they got a kid, if we're just talking about the landscape of the tournament, for basketball this year, they got a guy named Margod Choi Jilsarin, who is an absolute baller. He can light it up. He's a kind of all around guard. He can score it. He can pass it. So he's a name I'd watch out for, and just Fairfax in general. They ran into Hayfield last year. I believe got blown out, but yeah. So that's one team to watch out for. Again, I'm not too familiar with the teams around. However, though.
Yep. What do you think, Kombo?
Yeah, I've only done Prince William County Sportz, so I can't really have an opinion besides growing up playing in it. I like playing in the Patriot Battlefield football games, growing to them when I was little. I think this year, my senior year, I remember there's one point in the game I'm on the field, I'm looking around, and it's like everybody's there. Like the whole entire stand are full, bleachers are full, even around the fences is full. It's like you're playing in a bowl game somewhere,
Yep.
just this. I think that the fans in Prince William County love their sports, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, they love it. The families love it. I think it is definitely one of the best sports times in the state.
Yeah, I've never witnessed something at another high school. Again, it's because of a lack of seeing those other high schools, but I've never witnessed something like Patriot and Battlefield, just in terms of intensity, in terms of, I feel like it feels bigger in basketball because of just the venue you're at, and it's a closed off space and everybody's kind of packed in there. So it's louder in that, but it's in football too. And it's the student sections like yelling at each other and saying things back and forth to each other. So it's just, I mean, it's just different, those two teams. And yeah, the fans and parents are certainly passionate about it.
All right. I don't want us to, go ahead, Kirk, if you want to go ahead and chime in.
No, I was just going to say that it's demographics. Fairfax County is double the size of any other county in Northern Virginia. So I think Prince William is second, Loudoun is third. Then you got Arlington, Stafford, or whatever. But Prince William or Fairfax has 1.3 million people. Here's the key: is you guys are talking about families and people attending games. Well, now when you get into, like, say, George Marshall. All right, George Marshall's in Tyson's Corner. If you ever go to Tyson's Corner, it's, a lot of it is not conducive to families buying homes, raising kids. It's a much more urban city, like lifestyle, subway coming through there. And there's been other areas also. TC Williams, Alexandria City School, I think that's what it's called, has changed. And in Prince William, the way it's growing, I think will continue. But again, Stafford is there. But yeah, it's a fun conversation. And Richmond's got some areas too that have really come up, that are new. Teams that are some schools that, Deep Run and some of those schools that weren't around like 25, 30 years ago. But it's always it's a fun conversation. But yeah, I like the vibe at Prince William. Loudoun's come a long way. It used to be top heavy with Stonebridge for football, but other sports, there's definitely some other great teams out here, and it's very conducive. A lot of the programs are up and coming, and it's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So I never gave my predictions on the boys and girls in the region. I think, based on, I'm going to just steal Kombo's analysis. I think Patriot haven't played that tough schedule. I think Coach Rivers, after the loss to Battlefield on Wednesday, will get his kids a chance to regroup, and then they will win the district, the region, semis, and then they'll be a state champion.
Wow.
I think they're built for it, but a lot of it will be solely based on my prediction of them losing, but they will have another chance to regroup because, the one good thing about districts and regions is you can lose the final game and still advance. I'm not hoping for anybody, but
I wish you were like that for football.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, oh yeah. But I really think I like that Patriots. I think they have a chance to definitely win the region, and I'm also jumping on that Osborne Park selection. And then when you talk about the area, yeah, I think Prince William. There is a lot of, especially when you talk about some of the basketball tradition. Potomac has always had great crowds. And they really are like a blue blood program. And now we see that with Battlefield Patriot. But and again, overall, like that Battlefield in women's soccer and in swimming, and they've won a state track championship. Colgan is right there with baseball. Colgan's volleyball team won the state championship. I think Prince William is, like you said, is coming up. But I will also say Loudoun County has some dogs. They got players and they got fans. I go to Stonebridge game and it's packed. But I will say some of this is reciprocal in that when you're doing well, everybody comes out. I'm trying to judge programs on, well, how do you do when you're not great? Because some teams, like I will tell you, I could go to a Colgan game. Colgan's only been open 6 or 7 years. They haven't had a winning program. I think they only won like 5 games in the last like 5 years. But there's always a crowd at Colgan football. They really do have spirit there. So that's what I kind of gauge, because other programs, when they're winning, you see a lot of people, but when they're not, nobody's there. I'll say this. Kirk kind of stole one of them, but I will say, I think right, they are probably the most spirited and passionate single area in this region of Northern Virginia is Alexandria. And it's because there's one high school, T.C. Williams. I've had cousins go there. I've ref games there. There is a tremendous amount of pride now it's the city. What is the
Alexandria City? Yeah,
Alexandria City.
Yes,
I can tell you, when they talk about that Titan pride and how much they value, I mean, it is real. Like,
yep.
Again, the programs aren't as great as they have been at times in the past, but that's a school. Again, it's one high school for a whole city, and the people there do take a great deal of pride in their program. So I would say T.C. Williams, it's one school as opposed to other counties and cities that have maybe multiple, but I'd go ahead, that'd be my pick for the region. And the last thing I think we need to touch on, guys, is and I forgot. It was, I had it right here. I wanted us to close with something, but yeah, I think this has been a lot of fun. Let's look at our predictions and maybe get you guys back on over during the playoffs. But Kirk, any closing? Well, I'll start with you, Kombo. Any closing remarks?
Kombo, any closing?
I know, like, we come across, so like we've all picked Patriot to win the boys basketball and all that. I don't want to knock Battlefield that, but I think Battlefield, they have a great program. Hassan Ahmad is averaging, I think it's 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Ty Gordon, we saw the different teammate on the court, averaging 4 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. They had Maddox Tennant averaging 16 points. I think he had 20 points fourth quarter last night. During the game versus Patriot last week. There's a lot of talent in that program, but I think the difference overall just comes from Coach Rivers with Patriot guys. I think having the ability to have Nasir Coleman and Caden Bates as your 1 and 2, and then bringing a kid like Kai Wilcox or Abe off the bench, then having your middleman Jay running the floor for your other wing. That separates the two teams and why Patriot will end up winning the tournament this year.
I'm sorry, I do remember what I wanted to touch on, because we talked about all of the Class 6, but we cannot forget Brentsville in Class 3. The girls program is outstanding, and they their best player, what is it?
Alden Yergi.
Right? I know she was hurt she's back now, right?
No, she's back. She's getting 19 points a game. And yeah, earlier podcast episode, we were talking about the best girl players. I mean, she's right up there with every single one of them. I feel Brentsville kind of is like, they're in the smaller class, so they kind of get knocked for that. I mean, she can play and she can start. And
she's Division I.
Yeah, Division I. She's going to Siena, so she can play for all of these teams and she can perform for all these teams. And she's been recruited to play for a bigger school or but she's just a loyal player and plays for the Ville. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because she's been great. But it's not just her; they got a squad there.
Yeah, they do. And on the real, they just, again, I would like to see a traditional Gainesville, Brentsville, Colgan, those teams that are really close, like on the schedule regularly. But Brentsville could beat a lot of the teams in the county. A lot. I think they would be right there in my top 3 or 4 or 5 in the entire county. And then so I did just want to give them props because they sometimes we do overlook them. Kirk, Colin, go ahead on, Colin. Any closing remarks, and then Kirk, you can wrap us up.
Yeah, I just wanted to I'm not sure if Coach Bills will show the team or he'll watch this himself. But yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what Kombo was saying. It's no knock on Battlefield. Battlefield's a great team, and they have the formula for beating Patriot. I mean, Patriot has 4 losses now in the past 2 years, and 2 of those are to Battlefield. So Battlefield, they have the formula and they have the guys with it. I think Hassan Ahmad didn't score that much last game, but he does so much for that team, rebounding, defense, everything, leading that team. The only thing he doesn't do is sit on the bench because he plays the whole game. So, yeah, I don't want to overlook Battlefield. I wouldn't be surprised if they take that game. But, again, I'm just looking forward to this playing out for the guys and the girls. And just based on what I've been hearing from the boss man, Joel Andrews, we'll be having some of those games. So I look forward to that. And I thank you guys for having us on.
All right.
Yeah, good stuff.
Kurt, you want to close that?
Yeah, one, I misspoke earlier. I want to correct myself. Potomac Falls is arguably the best team in Loudoun County. I said they had a down year. I knew better than that. So they're 15-5. Secondly, I would say this. In some of this, I say not to be inflammatory, but kind of to motivate people. I think the Class 5 is better than Class 6, boys and girls, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe at the top with you're talking about Hayfield, Battlefield, Patriot. That's different. But top to bottom, like the top 10 teams in 5 boys and girls, I got to go with 5. Mansfield's undefeated. Albemarle's great team. Kingsport killing it in 4. I'll bring them up because they're coming to 5 next year. Highland Springs,
Kickingham, Maury,
Kickingham, Maury, Woodside.
Woodside beat Gonzaga. Yeah.
So, and one last thing, and maybe we'll do this. We need to get some Paul VI folks on because they're number 2 in the country. And here's an interesting tidbit. What if they're players who are not traveling in and living with families? Because that's been going on at Paul VI in the schools for a long time. Kids down at Hampton Roads will spend their last year up here playing for Paul VI Catholic League. But the local players, if they were going to Loudoun, Fairfax, and Prince William County schools, there's quite a few of them that are local that are big-time players, and that would be an interesting tidbit. And that's a great point, Rusty, that you brought up that Woodside beat Gonzaga. Yeah, and then you're talking about a Gonzaga team that plays against Paul VI, St. John's Catholic High School. I never get their name right, but they're in the top 15. So you got 3 teams in the Catholic League in the top 15, and again, that would be nice. But I'm excited for Prince William. I did pick Patriot, but don't be surprised if Battlefield does it. I would say that if both teams are playing at their highest level and they're playing well, Patriot should beat Battlefield. I just said should. Patriot is not unbeatable by any means, and they've shown that. And for that matter, outside of John Marshall and Richmond Public School, I don't think there's a public school that's not beatable. So that's my 2 cents.
And so I'll close with this. I brought up Brentsville, and you're talking about private schools, but we have one here in the county in St. John Paul the Great. And I went to see them play Gonzaga a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to look to have Coach Angelo Hunt on the show. That their boys program, they're going to. I see where this direction that they're headed, and they're going to be able to. They have a good program, but they're going to start making even more noise. I think it's in basketball, and so I don't want to forget some of. And then in girls basketball, Seton is
always been good.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So with that, again, I want to thank Kombo. I want to thank Colin and my co-host Kirk Hilliard as we did this end of the last week of high school basketball and regular season in Prince William County. Thank you guys for giving us this review and preview And you know, let's just see how right and wrong we are. Coach Rivers, I can't lose the way I set this up. All right, man. All right, this has been Kirk and Rusty on the Kirk and Bird Show. We are out.
Out.